Described as the Newport of the Midwest, Lake Geneva has been home to some of the nation's largest Gilded Age summer cottages. But have you ever wondered which one was the most expensive? Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. In 1846, Norman Harris was born in the small town of Becket, Massachusetts, to a family of modest means. A bright student, he attended Westfield Academy and graduated at just 17 years old, eager to make his mark in business. In 1867, at the age of 21, Harris seized an early opportunity. He helped found the Union Central Life Insurance Company in Cincinnati, Ohio, becoming the firm's secretary. This venture proved enormously successful. Union Central grew to become the nation's second largest life insurer in the coming years. In 1882, Harris boldly invested his life savings to establish N.W. Harris & Company, a private banking firm in Chicago. At the time, Chicago was emerging as a booming center of commerce, and Harris' timing could not have been better. His gamble paid off spectacularly. Within just 7 years, Harris's young firm had already amassed $2 million in assets and even opened a satellite office on Wall Street in New York. This was a remarkable feat in an era when banking was dominated by East Coast institutions. By the turn of the 20th century, Norman Wade Harris was a name to be reckoned with in American banking. In 1907, he reorganized his business by founding the Harris Trust and Savings Bank in Chicago, solidifying his firm's status in the banking world. He also expanded operations in New York by co-founding Harris, Forbes & Company, aligning himself with the nation's financial elite. Harris's banking empire became the precursor of what is known today as BMO Harris Bank. His influence wasn't confined to banking alone. He sat on the board of directors of AT&T, showing how his business reach extended into the burgeoning telecommunications industry as well. Worth millions and millions of dollars, he began donating money as quickly as he could make it. He was a trustee at the University of Chicago and helped fund expeditions and programs there. He donated a staggering $250,000 to Chicago's Field Museum to create a public school extension program that brought natural history education to children, a program that still exists as the N.W. Harris Learning Collection at the museum. In 1913, Harris gave another $250,000 to Northwestern University to build the Harris Hall of Political Science and History, a building that still stands at the heart of Northwestern's campus. One of Harris's most enduring legacies was as a founder of the Chicago Community Trust in 1915. Over a century later, the Community Trust would grow to manage billions for philanthropic causes. Harris wasn't known for hosting extravagant parties or showing off in high society. However, he did share the common aspiration of Chicago's turn-of-the-century elite to have a tranquil summer refuge away from the city. After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, many of Chicago's richest families began summering in the Lake Geneva area of Wisconsin, a place that soon earned the nickname Newport of the West for its proliferation of mansions and society gatherings. The railroad had reached Lake Geneva in 1871, making it easy for affluent Chicagoans to escape to the lake's wooded shores. By the 1890s and early 1900s, the shoreline around Geneva Lake was dotted with grand estates built by names like Wacker, Hutchinson, Selfridge, and Ryerson, the merchant princes and financiers of the Midwest. Norman moved in the same rarefied circles as these families, serving alongside them on civic boards and philanthropic committees. It was only natural that Harris, enjoying both professional success and a growing family, would join the trend and build a magnificent summer home of his own on the lake. He and his wife Emma found an idyllic site on Lake Geneva's north shore, a sweeping property of almost 40 acres with hundreds of feet of prime lake frontage offering both privacy and panoramic water views. There, they commissioned an expansive mansion to be their seasonal haven. The Harrises chose a distinguished architectural team for the job, the Boston firm of Shepley, Rattan, and Coolidge, renowned for designing many of Chicago's landmark buildings. The result of this collaboration was Wadsworth Hall, a Georgian Revival-style mansion completed in 1906. Tall Corinthian columns marched across the front, supporting a pediment and sheltering an expansive terrace, a fitting welcome for an estate of this caliber. Even by the opulent standards of the Gilded Age, Wadsworth Hall was breathtakingly lavish in scale and detail. The mansion's interior encompassed about 14,000 square feet of living space, including 13 bedrooms and no fewer than 13 fireplaces to warm those cool lakeside evenings. Guests entering the front door stepped into a grand reception hall soaring 40 feet high, topped with a painted dome and glittering chandeliers. A sweeping staircase curved upward from this hall, setting a dramatic stage for social gatherings. Off to one side lay a cozy, wood-paneled library, its shelves undoubtedly filled with the literature and curios from Harris's world travels. Rare artifacts aside, this room was a showpiece in its own right, with delicate carvings running up the hand-fluted pilasters all the way to the coffered ceiling. On the other side, a formal dining room awaited, its plaster ceiling dressed in intricate decorative relief, scrolls, garlands, and leaves sculpted in white. Though known to be somewhat socially reserved, if he ever wanted to, he could host lavish dinners at the drop of a hat. The estate's landscape was just as grand as the house itself. Harris wanted the grounds to be a pastoral paradise where his family could stroll, play, and entertain in equal measure. To achieve this, he enlisted the famed Olmsted brothers to design the gardens and outdoor features. At Wadsworth Hall, they laid out formal gardens with manicured lawns, flower beds, and stone pathways that would bloom in the summer social season with colorful displays. Norman Harris' enjoyment of Wadsworth Hall would unfortunately be relatively brief. By the summer of 1916, he was determined to spend the season as usual at Lake Geneva. Sadly, just weeks after settling into Wadsworth Hall, Harris passed away in his beloved summer home from heart complications. In 1920, the Harris children decided to sell the Lake Geneva estate, marking the first change of hands for the property. The buyer was a noteworthy figure in his own right, Walden W. Shaw, a prominent Chicago businessman famed for co-founding the Yellow Cab Company. In 1929, Walden's daughter married Daniel Peterkin Jr., an executive with the Morton Salt Company, and as a wedding gift of sorts, her father essentially passed the torch of the Lake Geneva estate to the newlyweds. By 1997, that family's tenure had come to an end, and Wadsworth Hall finally went up for sale, reaching the open market for the first time since 1920. The grand old mansion was now an aging beauty, still standing proud, but in need of someone with both the vision and resources to restore it to its former glory. Enter Richard H. Driehaus, a Chicago investor, philanthropist, and avid champion of historic preservation. Immediately, Richard set about restoring the mansion and grounds in a massive renovation project. His goal was to rejuvenate Wadsworth Hall, which he rechristened Glanworth Gardens, in honor of his mother's hometown of Glanworth in County Cork, Ireland. Driehaus assembled a team of architects, craftsmen, and artisans to tackle everything from structural repairs to fine decorative details. They repaired the roof and masonry, updated electrical and plumbing systems, and installed modern comforts while respecting the home's historical character. In March of 2021, Richard Driehaus passed away at the age of 78, marking the end of yet another era of the venerable estate. Soon after, Glanworth Gardens was put on the market by his estate. In late 2021, it was listed at $39.25 million, and by January 2022, an offer was accepted. The sale closed at $36 million, officially making the property the most expensive home ever sold in Wisconsin at the time. Today, the mansion still stands proudly along the shores of Geneva Lake. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What did you think about Wadsworth Hall? Let me know down below in the comments section. Our goal for 2026 is to hit 1 million subscribers, so if you are one of the 1 to 2 million monthly viewers of this channel, please consider subscribing to show your support. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on This House.